Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back or welcome to my podcast, Rewired to Inspire. I am your host, Jessie Brown, and I am very excited to be jumping on the microphone with you all for episode number 208. If you missed my last episode, number 207, I shared with you all 10 refreshing reminders that you just might maybe need to hear. I always love doing episodes like that, step by step. And having reminders on those harder days is just such a great outlet that we can use when we don't really know where to turn, or maybe we don't have hope for ourselves and we're just needing to hear some words of encouragement. And so my goal for that episode was for you guys to have a platform and a place to come back to anytime when you're just needing to be reminded of certain things in life, because sometimes life is heavier and life is harder. And that's okay. And it's okay to lean on support as we navigate through that. Full transparency, I just put on a bunch of essential oil on my neck and on my forehead. I've had a migraine for the last couple of hours and I'm trying to push through. However, I'm not feeling the best, but life goes on. We needed to record this episode. This episode comes out tomorrow, which is February 29th, leap year, super cool. But I just wanted to be transparent about where I was at because my head is definitely pounding and I find when my head's hurting, not only is it hard to be present, but I find it kind of hard to think sometimes. But all things considered, I am having an incredible day. I get to speak in front of 500 students this morning at a local school on my presentation, which is about how our internal dialogue shapes our life, the importance of self-love, which is my go-to presentation that I absolutely adore giving. And I just got such incredible feedback, and I had some students come back to me after the presentation and talk to me. A couple asked if they could take selfies, which was super cute, and I was obviously honored. And it just really made my heart smile and made me very happy. And for a second, I just was really proud of myself. And so I wanted to share that. And if anybody is ever looking for a speaker for an event, whether it's virtually or in person, depending where it is, definitely let me know. I am always open to growing my experiences with public speaking and becoming just an even better communicator and speaker. So I just wanted to share that with you guys of where I'm at today. Today we're going to be talking about 5 things that I do on a daily basis to help me with my mental health. These are things that you might already be doing directly, or what I mean by that is like consistently or maybe not consistently. But these are the 5 things that I promise you are tangible, they're realistic, but they can really transform your life. And I share these things because I love having tools that I can use to improve my self-love, but things that actually feel possible when we hear, do these 10 things every single day to have the best life. It's like, first of all, I don't have time to do 10 extra things outside of my day-to-day life and job and just trying to keep it all together. So I wanted to give you 5 things that I do, and some of them take quite literally seconds. Some of them take a little longer, but they've transformed my mental health and my relationship with my mental health. And as always, I just need to preface that your mental health is a never-ending journey. Just because you do these 5 things, and just because I do these 5 things, does not mean that I do not struggle. I've been having challenges with my mental health for the last couple of days of just feeling really low, sad, depressed almost. I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed. And even though I'm still trying my best to do these things, I'm still feeling that way. And sometimes that's just life. And all we can do is try our best externally to do things to honor and nourish our body as it goes through and navigates certain things. So without further ado, let's dive into these 5 things that you can also do that are tangible to improve your mental health. So the first thing that I wrote down is every single morning when I wake up, and this took a while for me to wire this into my consciousness to be an automatic thought. Now it just happens as soon as I wake up, but again, it took time, is to ask myself where I'm at every single morning when my alarm goes off. Where am I at out of 100? What is my percentage today? Some days it is 100 and I'm like, let's go, I'm ready to go, I'm excited, I'm pumped, I got all the energy. Other days I got 50%, other days I got 20%. And the reason that I do this is because it's important to validate that your quote unquote 100% is going to look different every single day. That does not make you less than. That does not make you unproductive. That does not make you unworthy or like, what's the word I'm trying to think of? It's okay for our energy to ebb and flow. We're humans, and depending on maybe the food you consumed, how much sleep you got, how much stress you're experiencing, what you're going through in life, your capacity is going to be different. And by honoring for yourself that, hey, I'm at a 70 today. And if you crush your day at a 70%, guess what? You gave it everything you had. If you're at 50% capacity and you get 50%, guess what? You gave it everything you had. Whereas when we have the mentality of thinking we're supposed to be at 100% all the time, every single day, and if we're not, we beat ourselves up, we end up feeling kind of crummy about ourselves. And we end up beating ourselves up because we're comparing to a version of ourselves that isn't supposed to be around all the time. We are not designed to be at 100% all the time. Now, obviously, if you're dealing with certain things repetitively, you're at 20% every single day for months on end, there's probably something going on. And I'd be curious to explore that, what that might be for you. But for so long, I would get down on myself when I had less to give, especially when I was going to be in the company of other people. If I had less than 100%, I felt like I was doing them an injustice, and I would almost fake that extra. If I was at a 70, I would fake that extra 30, and then I would end up feeling worse. The more we normalize that we don't all have to be 100% of okay all the time, again, just allows us permission to just be and to show up to the best of our ability and to show up where we're at to validate where we're at. Which leads me very smoothly into the second thing that I do to help support and that has improved my mental health is to honor and validate how I'm feeling, but further than that, what emotion I'm feeling, being very specific about identifying which emotion I'm feeling. So I typically use a feelings wheel. I have one above me in my office, but you can also just pull one up on Google. And in tandem of validating for myself where I'm at out of 100, I will identify which specific emotion I'm feeling. If I'm feeling sad, gloomy, depressed, stressed, happy, joy, enlightenment, right? The reason that so many of us have a disconnect between our mind and body is because they're not communicating. And one of the best ways that we can get those back online, turning our parasympathetic nervous system back online, which is our rest and digest state, is by asking ourselves questions and grounding ourselves, such as, what am I feeling and experiencing right now? Because that question allows you to go within, to go into your body, to go into your mind, and to be curious. When we just allow ourselves to be on autopilot, we're not building that relationship with ourselves. We're just saying like, all right, free for all, go for it. And then our thoughts take over and our subconscious takes over. And we almost get stuck in these cycles, right? We're acting almost like robots. But when we can check in and be like, I'm feeling this way today, it also allows you to honor that you're feeling that way. And if you're around other people, it's like even honoring like, I'm feeling a little bit sassy today, but I'm here and I'm excited. And I hope that my emotions, I can tend to them, so that's not your responsibility to carry. Imagine a world where we all, and sorry I'm touching my face so much, I find when I'm trying to concentrate when I'm not feeling great, I'm very fidgety anyways, but I find myself extra fidgety in this episode, so I apologize if you're watching video. But imagine a world where we all communicated how we were feeling with each other. Because I don't know about you, but when I'm in a room or an environment with people that, specifically people that I know, and I know what their 100 looks like, I'm very good at taking that personally when their energy is less, feeling like I did something wrong. I'm the cause of their emotions. And so I just imagine a workplace, for example, where we could even just say, I'm feeling like a 6 today. Even like I vision our doors having a scale on it. And if we're feeling whatever we're feeling out of 10 or out of 100, we put that right there on our door so that people know I have a little less capacity today. I think it's normalizing that just because we're at work, around other people, in social settings, whatever, it does not mean automatically that everything we're experiencing just goes down the drain. And I know men deal with this too, but women specifically, our emotions are like a damn roller coaster. There's one day where I'm like on top of the world, ready to go, and then the next day I'm tears deep in my pillow, just wanting to wish the day away because I'm just so sad or disconnected. And it's like both versions of me are okay, and like they're just experiencing different things on different days and different hormones and whatever. But it's so important that we validate what emotion we're feeling and building that connection with ourselves instead of just happy, sad, angry, right? There's so many other emotions in between, and it's also just kind of fun, if I can say that, to start to get specific about what you're feeling and to be able to talk about that. If you have a partner and you guys start your day or with your kids to be like, what emotion are you feeling? And then you talk about it. Talk about your emotions that you're feeling, because the more we talk about them and normalize them and use that vocabulary, the more we're building that relationship with ourselves. And it forces us, and I say that word with love because I have a love-hate relationship with that word, but it encourages us to stop and to pause and to validate whatever it is we're feeling, knowing that there is no good or bad emotions. If you look at the emotions wheel, there is no like black side and white side. It is just a colorful wheel with all of our emotions, because none of them are quote unquote good or bad. They're all just different ways that we as humans experience things on a day-to-day basis. Okay, number 3, and I'm sure you guys could have guessed this one was coming, but it truly, truly has changed my life. And it has improved my mental health drastically. And that is to journal. So, as somebody who overthinks about everything, sorry, I just had a little sip of tea, hoping it helps with my headache. But as somebody who quite literally overanalyzes, overthinks mostly everything in life, I have a very curious mind, but I also have a personality that's like, I need to learn more. I need to figure out more. I need to know why. And sometimes this is beneficial, especially if I'm doing research or if I'm working or doing a specific project, whatever, it's really beneficial. But when it's just in the run of a day in my life where I'm really reading into something and my mind is going faster than the speed of light, it becomes really exhausting and overwhelming. And so journaling is what I've started to do over the last couple of years that has quite literally transformed my relationship with my mental health. I shared in my keynote today that exactly what I just said to you guys. Our thoughts are faster than the speed of light. They happen so fast. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of thoughts a day, 80% of which are negative. The way that we can slow down our thoughts the most effectively is through writing. Because as we are, our thoughts can only go as fast as our hand. And it allows us an opportunity to pause and intervene and notice the things that we're writing down and to bring awareness to them. Whereas when we just allow it to play in our mind, it's allowed to have a continuous, never-ending cycle. And sometimes that can make things a lot worse when we are just stuck and trapped in our own mind and in our own thoughts. And so journaling and writing down how I'm feeling, what's on my mind, what am I stressed about? If I'm anxious, what am I anxious about? Writing it out in words. Is there a conversation I need to have? Is there an action I need to take? Reflecting. And some days, a lot of days actually, when I journal, it's just how my day went and the good things that happened and what's going on and what am I grateful for. But it's a tool that once you build the habit of using, it's there for you on the harder days automatically. You don't have to think about grabbing it. It's also it's fun and empowering to look back at your journal from months before, years before, and read what you were going through and what was going on in your life. And you're just like, wow, the discrepancy between that version of me and me now, I've come so far and I didn't realize that, but because I wrote it down and I have this visual and tangible thing to look at, it's quite empowering. And so as much as it's talked about a lot, you know, in our society and just pushed in our face to journal, it really is super helpful. There's a reason, if you've seen a therapist or a counselor, they've encouraged you to do so, because it's really helpful. It truly is. And so that's the third thing that I've started to incorporate, that just allows me the opportunity to get things out of my head and to slow down my thoughts and to reflect about what's going on. Number 4, try my best to eat a well-balanced diet. And again, I know, like I prefaced at the beginning, some of these are just like, yeah, duh, common sense. But just because it's common sense doesn't mean it's common practice. Trying your best to eat a well-balanced diet will be a huge dictator of your mental health. And I know that when we struggle with severe mental health, we often don't feel worthy to eat nourishing foods. I know things are freaking expensive right now and it's hard to eat healthy, but trying to the best of our ability to nourish our body. So reducing processed food, reducing refined sugars, and just trying our best to give our body protein and fiber and as much freshness as possible really does impact our mental health. There are days when I eat fast food and I can feel my body and my brain feeling foggy and just like sad, because it spikes so much dopamine and serotonin when we eat foods that bring us pleasure, and then we crash, right? We don't think about that other side of it. It's bringing us pleasure in the moment, but we don't think about the opposite side of that. And I'm not saying, you know, never eat foods that make you happy. My favorite thing every night when I'm having my tea is to have a couple pieces of chocolate. It's my favorite thing in the whole wide world, and it makes me so happy, and I'll probably never stop doing it because it just brings me joy. But I know that I can't eat a full chocolate bar. I can't eat like fast food every single day. But you can in moderation, just like anything in life. It's in moderation. But it's not talked about very often how much diet, yes, it affects our physical body, but it affects our mind. Our emotions are created in our gut. Those emotions that everybody talks about, serotonin, dopamine, blah, 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 that's created in our gut. Nobody's talking about that. And how the foods that we eat are a direct correlation in how we are going to feel. How what we eat, you know, dictates our sleep, and then our sleep overpours into how we're feeling and our well-being and our energy, and everything is just this constant trickle effect. But if we're not looking at some of the baseline things, such as just the foods that we consume, we might end up stuck in the same cycle of feeling, well, what is wrong with me? Or why is my mental health always so bad? Whatever. And so, as always with all my episodes, if you are stuck on any of these, or if any of these are triggering for you, a mental health professional is there for you to help you and guide you and support you on that journey, to be there to walk with you, not in front of you, but with you, to support you on this journey. And number 5, last but not least, I know, common sense, but it truly does make a difference in my life, is moving my body for at least 30 minutes a day. Sometimes, like today, I had a full-blown workout. I got a good sweat on. I then went in the sauna and I felt pretty good. Maybe I overpushed it a little bit because my head, like I said, is pounding. But sometimes that's just a walk with my dog for 30 minutes. And bonus points if you can get outside and get in the sunshine, because that's been proven so many times to help our mental health, is getting fresh air and getting in nature and getting in the sun. But moving your body to whatever capacity you have for at least 30 minutes. If you want to start with 5 minutes and then 10 minutes and work your way up, for me, 30 minutes is like my minimum that I know I need to move my body to feel good. And some days that's a slow yoga flow at home in my living room. Some days that's a dance party in my living room. I did one of those yesterday and I had so much fun. Some days it is lifting weights. Some days it's going for a run. Some days it's walking with your friend and just talking the whole time. It really can look different. But moving your body is extremely beneficial for your mental health. And again, I know that it can feel hard and feel impossible. We all have at least 5-10 minutes in our day. And if you say you don't, with all the love, I'm sorry, but it's just an excuse. We all have at least 5 to 10 minutes in our days to do something to move our body. If we have kids, do it with your kids, right? Get them to move with you. Go for a family walk. Do a family dance session, right? Moving that energy in your body, moving your body, getting your heart rate up. It just leads to better sleep, leads to better quality of life. It helps you feel better physically, and it's just really, really good for boosting creativity, getting your melatonin back on track, boosting your circadian rhythm, regulating your nervous system. All around, there's no negative sides of moving your body. So that's it. Those are the 5 things that I do. And I'm sure that I do more things that I would love to share with you guys eventually in the future, but I wanted to keep this simple because I want it to be tangible and I want it to be something that you can, actually grab and run with. And if you even start with just the first 2, noticing where you're at out of 100 and identifying your feeling, I am so proud of you. And that is a phenomenal, phenomenal place to start. All of these aren't about adding all these new things in and overwhelming us. But it's instead to just start to build, to start to try something and notice how it feels. And there's no better way to start than by actually noticing how you feel on a day-to-day basis. So thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for tuning into today's episode of Rewire to Inspire. My next episode comes out in March, which is, I cannot believe how quick February has gone. I felt like January was a little bit slower. February feels like it's just here and gone. And I'm trying to process and wrap my head around the fact that we are in March in 2 days. But I hope that your guys' March is off to a great start. I will chat with you guys on the 5th of March. And so until then, I'm sending you all so much love. You're so worthy of tending to your mental health, of looking after yourself, and of living the best quality life as possible. So until next time, thank you guys. Goodbye.